So,
Yeah.
Phone at you.
It's got to be Sue earlier.
I know.
The role now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got the legend Tom Hutley, who's the biggest YouTube star in the old taxi world. We've got Nikki Sutcliffe. Nikki's a cab driver, and Sue Wilson is also a cab driver. We have Leigh Dargan, who's not a cab driver just yet, but will be very soon. And Paul Byron, who is runs HP Taxis, is a living legend in this industry as well. I'll cut that bit out, Paul, don't worry. And yes, we're here to discuss women and their role and the knowledge, and why so few women are actually getting involved when they should, because it just seems a bit strange.
What was your inspiration? What was your inspiration to start the knowledge?
For me, it was wanting to be my own boss.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to Brazil, and I didn't want to have to ask my boss for permission for 3 weeks off, because I knew he wouldn't allow me to. So that was basically why, because I thought, right, what can I do that I don't need to ask my boss or have appointments or...
And did you know someone who was in the taxi trade? That's unique.
Yeah.
Like usually people know someone who knows someone, and yeah. What about you, Sue? Was that the same for you?
My brother-in-law's black cabbie. Right. My granddad's brother was a black cab driver, so it was kind of, I was aware of it. And yeah, I think a bit like you, Nick, was the case that I wanted to be my own boss and to fit around my 3 children.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the main driving point for me.
There was no other women in your family or in your lineage who'd gone down that route?
That I knew, yeah. No female.
And would you recommend it to other ladies to do the knowledge, and why?
Definitely, 100%. I mean, it was a rocky start for me because I came out during the pandemic, August 2020.
Yeah.
All your vouch for me.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, so it was stop, start. Now it's busy. I'm actually thinking, my God, this is actually the best job in the world. Like today, my daughter's gone on a school trip. I didn't have to once think, I can't send her off. I've got all the other mums. I've got to go, I've got to rush off. And I was like, oh no, I can actually go with the other mums and have a coffee. I dictate my time, fits in with me. Yeah. So,
because you know that the work's always there. You can clock on and off when you want. Yeah. No one's telling you when you've got to go to work. Exactly. You know, your cab's there waiting for you. As long as it starts, you go.
Hours,
You haven't got to prep for it either, right? You haven't got to go, oh, I've got to prep for a meeting or you know, all that kind of stuff. Badge, keys, you know, you're ready to go, you know.
So, yeah, I'm loving it. I'm really loving it now.
Leigh, you're on your knowledge journey now, and of course you've worked within the industry as well. So what made you switch over to this?
I think I've made so many friends through the black cab trade, and then I was made redundant last year. And a bit like the girls, I just didn't want to have that boss anymore. I mean, I've had some really good bosses and I've had some pretty terrible ones. My kids are older. Pardon?
Be honest.
I know, I've had some really bad ones.
Yeah, of course, we all have.
But I think, you know, my kids are older. It was one of them journeys I wish I could have started 10, 15 years ago, but I was by myself. It's just too hard to dedicate working full time, doing the knowledge, bringing up kids. But now they're older, I've got the support. It was the right time for me to do it.
Have you found the knowledge has been, it's not that hard that you would put you off completely if you knew what you knew now, because you're near the end?
I think I took the right advice from the beginning. You know, coming to the school was the best decision that I made, to come right from the beginning, call my blue books, because I found that journey's made it probably a smoother process than people that don't know about schools. Yeah.
100%.
And you're guessing, you know, when people guess, I thought they were guessing what they should be doing next, is where, you know, we followed your advice, how to do the knowledge. And I think, you know, especially for me and my call-over partner, it's paid dividends. We, you know, 2.5 years, well, less than 2.5 years, he's just got his rec. Yeah. So, yeah, it's worked out well.
Also, you're learning from other people's knowledge. When you come into school, you meet other people that know, because I met Ray, and I was calling over with Ray probably a few times, and I learnt so much from him. So you just meet other people as well.
Do you all feel like it's still totally dominated by men? Did you feel welcomed when you started?
I've always felt welcome.
Yeah, I've
The
never
minute I
felt.
went into the schools, yeah, always. And even out there, you'll get cab drivers. Even if you pull over and you've got your hazard lights on, before you know it, there's another cab driver. You all right, love? Is everything all right?
Yeah.
Everyone seems to, it's like a community. Everyone seems to look out for each other.
Yeah. It is, and you know, there cab drivers in general, they will look out for each other. You hear stories where you know the etiquette goes out the window, but generally that is still really there. You know, and I feel like we do definitely need more women out there.
I mean,
We really
I am
do.
shocked when I see another female cab driver.
Yeah.
And you do give that look over and as if, you know, but
smile.
I'm shocked to see another cab driver lady.
Yeah.
We only have 452 out of 19,000.
Crazy.
So in my fleet, I worked out it was 3% of the fleet is female.
Yeah.
That's not
I
enough.
have a lot of female
It's not enough.
customers as
Yeah.
well that get in the cab and say, I feel so relaxed.
Yeah.
I feel so
Yeah.
relaxed that I've got a lady driver.
Yeah.
One lady even fell asleep and I had to wake her up to pay the bill. Pay the fare, love. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's great. I mean, and we need to, we desperately need to equalise it, you know, somehow. It's gonna take a while, but hearing the stories makes it, you know, people see, well, it can be done.
Nerve-wracking, I think, even if you're a boy coming to the school for the first
yeah,
time.
course.
yeah.
You know, but it would be nice if there were more women
Yeah.
and realise that girls do go to the school. And I
Yeah.
think that's probably at the minute that they don't
Yeah.
recognise that girls
Girls
do
do
go
go- yeah.
go to the school. So,
Because it can be quite an isolated journey, the knowledge.
yeah.
And that's what I found important with coming to the school.
Yeah.
Because the people you meet at the school are going to be your mates out there when you're working.
looking after you,
Yeah.
and chatting about how
And
you're doing
telling
the job
you
and stuff.
Westminster Bridge is shut, don't use that today,
Yeah.
or being on top of it all.
Yeah.
But
But those first times when you came to the school, that must have been really like nerve wracking.
I remember my first, it was a night class, walked in, I was nervous, and I met Ray, and oh my God, straight away, joking, laughing, I felt such at ease.
Yeah.
And then I just kept coming back, and it was just, I met Nick at the school, I met Terman at school, I met Lee at the school.
Yeah. That's been brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
they
turning point for me.
Yeah.
they
the
often
school.
say the schools are cliquey, which is it's actually kind of a cliquey thing to say that the schools are cliquey because they're actually not cliquey. All it is that you turned up and didn't
Yeah.
get instantly fitted in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because I find that no one's ever really pushed anybody away from going to the schools. But it's not the students' job to sort of make you feel welcome. They're doing their own stuff, but
yeah.
they do tend to make each other feel welcome. And I'm always shocked at how few of the women that are actually doing the knowledge attend the schools. Because they usually create some group outside, generally, that's larger than the ones that are attending.
Yeah.
Larger group.
We have got girl group WhatsApp chats, haven't we? We're part of, which
Yeah.
is lovely. But the girl group knowledge chat.
Yeah.
And then we've also got a girls cabbie working chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's about 43 women on that group chat.
One question I'll ask as well, which I think is quite important. Do you feel safe at night driving a taxi?
100%.
And what makes you feel safe? Is it the screen? Is it, yeah.
Ask me that.
Yeah.
Lots
so
of women ask me that.
means that they're genuinely interested
Yeah.
in the
And
job.
yeah, but and I do say yes. Touch wood, I haven't had any problems. If anything, I have problems with women, and I've
Really?
said this. Yeah, I say this all the time to guys and girls that yes, women that I find quite abusive. Believe it or not. But yeah, it is the screen. 100%, and the fact that you're in control and that you have contact with people that have been on the
and about.
knowledge or have been out.
Because I know that I wouldn't want my partner to be driving a private hire car because there's no protection.
no.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that protection, that screen, that's a massive barrier. I mean, even viruses as well. Like anything, it's there. It's and you're driving a purpose-built vehicle, which is there to protect you.
Yeah.
You know.
And not only that, as I said again, I know I've only got to flash another black cab driver
Yeah.
and they've got your back.
Yeah.
I know I've got the armed police officers at Downing Street. I know I can head straight there if there
know
was
they're
an
there.
issue.
Yeah.
No,
But
they're there 'cause of
yeah,
knowledge.
yeah, but I've never once felt unsafe.
I think you all touched on a good point as well, and something I kind of regret about my journey was that I didn't go to a school. You've already got like a network, whether you like it or not, that there's always going to be someone that you know that you can always oh, I had this happen. How would you do this?
You've got all your YouTube fans as your network.
Yeah. Well, I've had to build that up since, or people like cab drivers, since coming out, because I only had a couple of call over partners.
Yeah,
But you had a cab driver background, Tom, from before?
No, none. So
how did you figure out that, like, what kind of level you should be reaching and what sort of work rate or anything like that?
I just
without
went,
school.
Yeah, I just bulldozed my way and thought, well, if I just work hard, then surely that should be
True,
right.
it does work.
That doesn't necessarily mean that's right, because you don't know your own.
No, you're losing. You're probably doing some things that are bad, that are a waste of time, that you don't know about, and you can be more efficient.
You don't know that when you're in that situation. At least if you've got different people to.
I absolutely failed till I come to a school. I got 4 Ds on the spin. I had a couple of call over partners that were better than me, and I was trying to keep up with them, and I wasn't really calling over properly. And as soon as I got to a school, everything fell into place.
Yeah. In general, the conversation's gone into the kind of school promotion league, which is fine. Which wasn't the intention.
But it's really important, because any lady that's watching this or listening to this needs to understand the framework. You know, that it can be done. It should be.
And you're not on your own.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be a school. It could be a number of schools. I used a number of schools.
I used it. I did as well.
You know, I'm not a traitor. Always came back. It's like a boomerang.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've used other schools as well, and that is. We had this conversation earlier, knowing where you feel comfortable. Yeah. You might not feel comfortable in certain schools, but others you might.
Would you think it would be a benefit if someone like the LTDA would give pay your school fees, pay women's school fees, or in some way give funding towards women and make it easier for them to do the knowledge, rather than and literally kind of a positive discrimination of women, because disproportionately
to bring them in,
yes,
to bring them,
because it is kind of, it isn't a massive financial burden in terms of, it's a sacrificial
the time,
burden.
innit? The time that you put in is the sacrifice. Your family sacrifice.
And certainly if it's a single mum, and the single mum is maybe claiming social benefits or whatever.
I was going to say it was a burden, because I was only working 2 days a week. So I had to find that money as well as paying all the bills and everything else.
Yeah.
But so that would be a massive
that would be something that
benefit.
should. Paul, you didn't happen to find the statistics of how many women are actually driving PHV?
No, I did not.
That would be interesting.
That would be very interesting.
I have seen one Uber lady driver, and I just thought, ooh.
Yeah. I've seen a few. Yeah, I've seen a few try and park. Yeah, no, I'm joking.
A little bit like me earlier.
Honestly, I would not be happy if my partner or sister or anyone, daughter, whatever, would be driving one of them vehicles, because there is zero protection. There's zero, and there's zero control, because they haven't got any knowledge, and they haven't got any protection. You know,
Leigh, when you started as well, you had children as well.
Yes.
Two children.
Yeah.
And even with 2 children, the decision to start, you've got a lot to take care of, and you've still got to get involved in studying.
I think it was difficult because I was working full time at the beginning as well. So I'd get up at 4 o'clock to do my blue book runs, go to work all day, and then I'd meet up with George just to call the blue books. And I was knackered. My dad looked at me. He said, I look awful. But I knew it was the end game. I just wanted to get it done. I didn't want to be on this any longer than I had to. And I think going back to the school, because it can make you very miserable, the knowledge. It's not, you're doing it in, day out. You just want to get it done. And I think the friendship groups we have made makes that journey just a little bit lighter. And we laugh, we do social events now. We all keep in contact.
Atmosphere in here.
Such a good atmosphere.
Great atmosphere in here.
We go for breakfast or Sunday, a few of us going out for Sunday lunch. It's just them little things. You think, you know what, I've spent 2.5 years with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see them more than I see anyone else.
Yeah.
And what would you be able to say to someone who, as a woman who's in a similar situation, what would you be able to say that would be the tipping point to try and create them to do the knowledge? Because it's very difficult, isn't it, to try and... I've never managed to successfully encourage anyone to do the knowledge.
I think just listening to the girls, you're your own boss. You can drop the kids off at school, Take that time. If you are on benefits, or you think, do you know what, I can drop my kids off at school. It means I've got 6 hours to crack on, do my runs, do my point-to-point, do my blue book, pick them up, and then actually you've got the whole evening with them. So it's just, I think, saying I'm going to use that time the right way.
That's what I did. I used to drop all my girls off at school.
Yeah.
and then literally straight after school drop off, come straight to Wizan,
Yeah.
call for that time, leave, go home if I need to do any tidying up, ready to pick him up from school, do dinner, get everything ready. Hubby would come home, support that he could then do leftover ironing or
Yeah.
washing, and then go out for an evening and
Yeah.
do some runs.
And now
or
you've
what
converted
you-
that into the job, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've converted that time from what you were doing in the knowledge to your work pattern, and you're actually earning the money now.
Yeah.
You know, the whatever you earn per hour, you know you're going to get when it's busy, and you've got your routine. You know, it's
And the kids are only
Easy.
getting older, so
They don't need you as
no, they
much.
don't. And then you go, do you know what? I'm going to go and work for a
Yeah,
few hours
yeah.
tonight,
Exactly.
and it works
yeah.
out.
the flexibility is the best thing about the
Yeah.
job. The best thing about
Yeah.
the job.
And
because-
ideal, you know, like if, say, for example, Elsie's school trip, right, you've got to pay £85 by such and such, right, lovely.
I'm
I'm going to go out and earn that.
Yeah.
I mean, what job can you actually go and do that?
Yeah.
That's so, the flexibility, that's just so
You can.
amazing.
There's plenty of jobs you can do it, but there's not plenty of jobs where you can do it at 3:00 in the morning
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
need to,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
or you know,
At
get
a
up,
time that suits you.
get up at 4:00
Yeah.
and go airport or wherever you want to
Yeah.
go. There's an opportunity there for you, you know, and it's good to see that women are starting to more and more women are starting to come through, but we need more. Like,
I just want to add as well what you're saying about your studying pattern, how it kind of fitted around like your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And 'cause some people think, oh, I've got this to do and that to do, but I sometimes find, at least my journey, but that it actually makes you more structured and you actually are kind of more effective and productive. as a result.
discipline,
Yeah.
discipline.
Because if you have a
Give
whole
me
day,
discipline.
some people think, oh, I need to clear my schedule entirely. I need to do nothing and just focus. Well, I find if you do that, then you're kind of a bit like if you have 2 hours to
Yeah.
do a task, you're going to be more effective at doing it in those 2 hours rather than having a whole day to do it.
Absolutely.
And the achievement as well, like I said earlier when we was talking earlier, like the achievement that you achieve, like you've got kids, you did that with your husband or your wife, but this you achieved on your own. You got that, and you stood there and took that handshake, and it was a proud moment for you as an adult, rather than you know what I mean. It's
It is, and even to this day, you look at that badge and you think, I can't quite actually believe I did that. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you did really well, sir, and your partner gave up.
Oh, do you mean? Oh, my call over partner.
Vinny.
Oh,
Yeah, you didn't mean Paul.
yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
Vinny. He,
Yeah, so it's funny with this journey how you meet people or
a
just
lot of people give up
yeah,
on your journey. You'll see people
Yeah.
that they're really enthusiastic more
Yeah.
than you, and you think, oh wow, and then all of a sudden they're gone.
Well, look at George. He wanted
yeah.
to give
Oh,
up.
George, we had to.
Really?
Yeah.
George, about, I think when it was the lockdown, no, it wasn't lockdown, it was the beginning of all the road closures and the blue books kept changing. And he said, if it carries on the way, we're not going to be able to drive down any roads. What's the point of
Yeah,
giving
there's
up
a lot
the
of
next
negativity.
2 years?
Yeah.
And it took a good week to persuade.
Yeah,
But now he was like,
so
remember when
glad,
I
yeah.
nearly gave up?
yeah.
And I,
Yeah, what you got to understand when you're going to be a taxi driver is roads are always going to be closed and changed. And
Every
you're always
day.
going to get stuck in
Every-
traffic.
yeah.
There's always going to be a demo. Of
It's just
some kind.
preparing you for the real world.
You've just got to
Always
understand
happens.
that as you're doing it. Otherwise, don't you? It's not the job for you.
Yeah.
It's not the job for everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's always going to be road shut. There's always going to be a cycling agenda. There's always going to be a clean air agenda. These things are always going to come and go, and you just have to put up with it because people need taxis.
And you soon get used to it. You soon get used to your new route, or
Yeah.
you know, it don't take long. Does it?
Bank Junction was shut and everybody was like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
What we're going to do, but you get round it.
Oh my God, you know enough routes. Come
Yeah,
on
it
now.
is a bit strange. I've never understood that one. This is the job. This is what happens, and within minutes you learn it.
You adjust.
And if you didn't know about it, you drive to it. You think, oh,
Yeah.
okay, sorry, I'm just learning this one as I go.
Your customers now want that back. There's a big thing in the city, a big vote about getting it back. You know, if your customers want it, they'll get it back for you. At the end of the day, we try and we fail, and we might succeed in other, but you know, we'll see. But yeah.
Have you ever, Nikki, successfully encouraged anybody to do the knowledge? Another woman, or
Well, my daughter did say, "Oh, I'll do the knowledge. Let me just pass out first before."
Is she on the knowledge now?
No,
Right.
she's a PE coach, but
so? Did she start?
no, she
was-
didn't.
Okay.
But it's you need
It's in
to
her
have your
mind.
mind. You have to have your mind right
Yeah.
before you start because it is a massive commitment. But
I'm thinking that we
Yeah.
all actually decide it ourselves. That's what it seems to be. I've had lots of friends who I've known who come to me and say, "Oh, yeah, I'll do that. Give me the stuff." And every person I've ever given stuff for free has never done it.
there's no one really at job fairs anymore promoting the black cab trade.
No.
No,
You know,
yeah.
you could say to an 18-year-old girl, look, I know she doesn't want to be a solicitor. She doesn't want to work in an office. Look, you could start this at 18 and by the time you're 21, 22, you're your own boss.
Yeah.
It should be promoted, I think, at
Yeah.
these job fairs, LTDA.
I don't know, was it you who raised the point, Paul, about the age as well? Because it should really be, oh no, Dave Frampton. You can drive a HGV at 18,
Right.
but you can't drive a cab
Good
at
point.
18.
Yeah.
21 or something,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
it? 21?
Yeah.
So they should make the age that you can drive a cab is 18. Now, it's going to be impossible because you still got to pass out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it would mean that you start your training with the inclination that once I finish my training, I am driving. So the person who's 18, you know, their perspective of time is completely different to ours. They're looking at 21 and thinking, I'm going to be an old woman by the time
I've had drivers that have rented cabs that have just been 21 when they've rented the cab,
Yeah.
and insurance companies are like, whoa, slow up. And I'm like, well, no, this guy's got discipline because he's been taught the knowledge, so they've got discipline. And I've never really had any problems with the younger guys and girls, but I haven't had any younger girls. So that's one thing about the knowledge, that what it really does for anyone who's thinking about it is it teaches you so much discipline, and it changes your brain.
It's the longest job interview in the world, I see.
Oh yeah.
Because that was the weirdest thing. Like, I got my badge on the Friday. You go out in a cab and you're like, am I allowed to do this? Like,
Yeah.
It's a right surreal feeling. Once you've got that. Did you go out and work straight away on the Friday once you got your badge?
So we didn't. It weren't badged. We didn't get badge days because of
okay.
pandemic.
Yeah.
So mine arrived in the post. The girls phoned me up, Mum, your badge number such and such, and I was like, I wanted to open.
Oh, no way.
And then yes, I think I got the badge on the Wednesday. Contacted Paul. I think I had the cab by the Thursday. And then I think my first day.
I did your badge day.
Yeah, I had my badge day. Yeah. And I think my first day, I was driving some roads with my light off just to double check a few roads. Yeah. And then I was like turning it on, off. Yeah.
What was your first job, Seb?
So I got held down on Buckingham Palace Road by the doorman of Rubens Hotel. My light was off, and he looked at me. He said, "Your light's off," and I went, "Gulp." What's the job? he went Paddington State, lovely. So I put my light on, and then they got in the cab, and I said my leg was like jelly, and I said, just to prepare you, just to let you know, you're my first ever passengers. And they said, our train's not for another hour, so please don't worry. And I went, no. And then John and Lucy, because when they got out, I said to them, I need to know your names, and they said John and Lucy, and I said, as tradition, this is first fare. And they said, I do not think so. Chuck 25 quid at me. And then I said, well, this will go to Great Ormond Street Hospital. So off I went to Great Ormond Street Hospital to donate money. We can't take the money because of COVID. You need now to do it online. But yeah. And then I did another job, and then I've done 2 jobs, and then I went home. I thought, ease me into it.
What about you, Nick? What was your first job?
St Botolph Street to my belly's rumbling, excuse me.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Can you hear that?
Jesus Christ, you're fasting.
It was only to Harrow Place, but the lady gave me a 20.
From where,
And
sorry? Harrow Place to where?
St Botolph Street.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, literally round the corner.
Cool, not
But
much.
She had shopping. So
Okay.
I spun the cab round, picked her up, then spun it back round again. And she gave me £20. I went, no, that's okay, it's on me. She was like, I haven't got no change, I'm sorry. She was like confused. I said, no, it's tradition. No, well, I haven't got no change, I'm sorry. I was like, no, it's free. But yeah, so.
That's a lucky one because you only gave away a small.
I know, wasn't it? Just.
You should have made a donation as well on top of that to Great
should
Ormond
have
Street.
done. Damn it.
But you haven't got a first fare yet, Lee. But
yet.
Tom, what about your first fare? You may as well say.
This is brilliant. I was just like Long Lane in Smithfield, and I was just going around the corner to 4th Street. Ladies were wearing heels and that. I said, I was only around the. I couldn't quite pull it at first because you're all going on.
Yeah,
never driven a cab.
It's really hard to pull one
On a traffic light, since the lights turn green, I'm like, ah. And I get in and they didn't quite shut the door. And I said, oh, can you open and shut the door again? And I've pulled over, my foot's on the brake, and of course the door doesn't open, does it? Pull it harder then. It was all going wrong, and I dropped them off and it was free. And they're like, oh, this is great. Why can't all taxis be like this? Yeah. I was like, well.
That was actually one of my arguments when we was having the protests, when we was clogging up London.
Yeah.
I wanted us to not clog up London, but to do free fares for 2 hours.
Yeah.
everybody don't charge. Take everybody, and when they're in the back, just speak the case that we wanted to think.
Yeah.
It would have been a positive promotion. And then a lot of cab drivers came and said, "Oh, it's all right for you. You can afford to not work for 2 hours." And I thought, but you're all clogging up London for 2 hours. You're not working. You're not doing anything. You may as well have done something productive.
Such a good idea.
Just have a rank somewhere that just says I'm doing, free job to wherever. And
Yeah, we just say on the news, the cabbies are protesting. We're going to be free fares all for 2 hours between this time, and everybody will jump in and out of cabs, and we just drive around and say, "Yeah, we're doing it because," and then they get out and great, and that's our 2 hour
And they
protest.
talk about it. Wherever they go to, wherever they're going, maybe for a dinner or whatever, they're going, "I just got a free ride because of this."
And they're going to support the cause more then.
Yeah.
And we needed some positive thing because it was we was negatively making bad impact, and but that was my idea. No one done it.
That would be good because it was like poppy cabs.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
You don't hear.
Mike Hughes, I think, does it.
Yeah, good guy. My first fare was unbelievable. I just pulled out of here, funnily enough, and I got as far as Globe Road, and the guy flagged me. He went, Oldfield Road. And I was like, all right.
He's got the ump.
Gets in, I think, that's all right, Globe Road, turn right into Oldfield Road. And I started saying the same thing, like, this is my first job. Mate, I don't give a shit. I've just got out of Bethnal Green Nick. I was like, all right. I'm starting to get really stressed. And this is my first job, and I'm shaking. I'm thinking, oh, God. Anyway, I turned right, got down to, and he's arguing with someone on the phone, and got to the end of Oldfield Road. It was £7.40. I said, mate, it's on me. I've just got out. He said, no, I've just got out. And I'm like, what? No, I've just got out. And he just chucked 20 quid in, and he went, do what you want with it, and just got out. So I did the same as you. I went Great Ormond Street, and I took cash in. That's a long time ago. Yeah, that was mad. I'll never forget it. Like, my hairs are going now. Like, thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? It was mad.
Would you drive a cab in any other country? In comparison, would you drive a cab in Mexico City, for example? Or
I don't think I feel comfortable in a cabin.
South Africa.
But you feel
This is where
we know it, yeah.
We're the best.
And you know it, and you feel like you are a part of it,
Yeah.
and you feel comfortable.
That's also what I say to a lot of customers, that there's nowhere in the world that has what we have.
Yeah.
Like the black cab, nowhere.
No.
Like,
And that's why the shape is the way it is as well. So it's so purpose built. Like you see different shaped cabs, and they don't look right. Do you know what I mean? It's
Are you all in electric cabs? You free? Oh, sorry, you're not driving a cab just yet, but you're in electric cabs, both of you. So, have you driven a TX4 or a Fairway or an old one? Okay.
No.
I have driven
You
both.
have been very
talking
spoiled.
of that. What was your first job, if you can remember back?
Oh, no, I can. Back in the 60s. Back in 1963.
Was it really 1963?
No. My first job taught me a lot about the job and actually teaching the knowledge. It was a real puzzler with the fact that at St Catherine's Way, they wanted to go to Victoria Station. So it was like, oh, lovely, because I've got ages to think about nothing. It's really a nothing job. But you suddenly get to the point of Northumberland Avenue and think, is it really worth going Northumberland Avenue, or is it better just to go to Bridge Street and Victoria Street? Yeah. And then you're caught in one of these, for a beginner, it's a simple dilemma, and you're suddenly thinking, well, when we're running it knowledge-wise, we're going to go Northumberland Avenue, but I'm thinking I might as well just carry on and go in Bridge Street and up Victoria Street. It's going to be easier. Yeah. And you're having these realisations in real time. And after that, you start to realise, well, in actual fact, it don't bloody matter. So in the future, you get these, they're not even problems anymore. It's just like, I don't care. I'm going to go Bridge Street because it's running, and I ain't going to wait for Northumberland Avenue. Now, in actual fact, I imagine Bridge Street is absolutely the best way, because Northumberland Avenue with the two sets of lights, you get stuck for ages. Yeah. And you go up the Mall. So, but that was it. Mine was really nice and easy. 78 quid it come to.
In old money as well.
Yeah, old money.
Quality, man.
I've got another question, actually.
Go on then, yeah, sure.
Only just, when you meet people, when you were doing the knowledge, and now that you meet people and you actually say that you're a London black cab driver, what's their reactions?
So
are they like, I think when I tell people I'm doing the knowledge,
especially when you're a woman,
they think it's amazing, and two, that, and you're a woman doing it.
Yeah.
They're really intrigued.
I remember just before, when I was booking my medical for the lady was on the phone. I said, can I get an appointment for a medical? What's it for? Black taxi driver. What date can your husband do?
There you go.
And then I said to her, it ain't my husband, it's for me.
That is
and
classic.
she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, well done you.
Yeah.
And that was my first, I suppose,
Sexist.
Yeah.
Sexism in
Yeah.
the trade.
Yeah.
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 It's the old doctor
That's
joke, isn't
excellent.
it? It's-
Yeah, it was really
You
like,
must have thought.
I felt
"Get
so
in
good.
there."
Oh, and this is the best. So when I passed out, I don't know how you guys thought. I thought, I'm going to go to one of these green cab huts.
Yeah.
I've got to go. So I went to the one on Pont Street, parked the cab up, and I thought, I can't wait. Come on, have a coffee and take a selfie in there. Tell my mum.
Go in there.
So I knocked on the door, and the man over to it said, hello, love. And I said, oh, can I come in for a bit of toast and tea? I'm really sorry, only cab drivers. And then I held up my badge, and I was like, I am a cab driver. And then I sat in there, and I weren't offended at all, because you're used to...
Yeah.
And I just sat there with my marmalade on toast. I took a selfie, sent it to my mum, and I was like, I've done it. I've
That
done
is
it.
brilliant.
That
Yeah.
is class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I feel proud saying it, don't you, Nick? I feel proud saying
Yeah.
I'm a black cab driver.
Yeah.
Well, we all
Yeah.
should feel proud, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
massive achievement.
Yeah.
A lot of the women that I've seen come through the knowledge, I actually think not only have they got it harder to do it, their circumstances generally usually are. They did nearly, so many of them single mums, seems to be predominant. But they reach a better standard percentage wise. So if you took 50% of the men and 10% of them would be good and the rest are just mediocre, but with 50% of the women, they are very, very good. The other 50% are going to be mediocre. So percentage wise, you're actually very good and you study very hard.
Yeah, more conscientious.
Yeah, you're much more. Once you understand the value of it, of what you're trying to do, it is really quite great to see the women sit down and start working away. And I know you all struggled, but it was no different for the men. We all struggled.
Yeah.
This is not easy for
Yeah.
anybody to do.
I was just going to say that I did a mock exam
Yeah, God.
with you, Dean, and I was absolutely shit. Thought, oh God, give up now. Because I think you asked me a question, and I was like, I couldn't even see it. But yeah, it just goes to
The
show
thing with the
you.
mocks, though, because I do them at school every week, is that sometimes you'll see people and they'll be terrible, and then you'll hear that they've scored because there's so much on the map that I might know, they might not know. Do you know what I mean? So to finish it is so hard because you think 6 mile radius, like to anyone watching this, 6 mile radius from the centre of town. That is as far as from Acton up to Wood Green. You know, that is so many roads and so many points of interest. And to actually end up having that all in your brain is unbelievable.
You have the picture of the map in your brain. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's just consistency. Just consistency and just keep going over it and over. It's like learning the times table when you're in junior
It's
school.
a degree. It's a degree. It's a genuinely as good as, or if not better than any degree.
Masters.
A master's, absolutely.
Well, as someone who's done both, I can easily say that.
Have you done both, Tom?
Yeah.
What was your master's in?
It was a master's or a degree, but first class with honours in film and TV production. So
We'd never have known, would we?
So I'm finally paying off my student loan.
Yeah. What made you go from that to being a cabinet?
That's the thing. It was like, I remember when I graduated from university, you come out of the cathedral at St Albans, and you got the mortise boards, and everyone throws them up in the air. We're like, yeah. As soon as it came down and hit the ground, I thought,
Unemployed.
now what? Yeah. Now the rubber meets the road. But whereas the badge day was the opposite, and both took me 3 years. And badge, I was working that.
Yes.
And then, but when I came out of uni, I sort of had so many odd careers, didn't know quite where I wanted to go, and I was like, found myself in really odd sales jobs. I'm like, how did it get this bad?
Yeah.
Why did this happen? And then, you know, when you come with the knowledge, I just sort of straightened everything out now, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, George, he got a degree.
Yeah.
He's a fireman, and he said the feeling of getting that badge was better than both of them put together.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said the feeling was.
What is it? When you hear this degree comparison, there is one massive plus point, which is the fact that you walk out into a job. No matter what you study or anywhere else, you don't walk out into anything. I know for a lot of European countries, a lot of poorer ones, they've got a very, very well qualified population of young people with no jobs. They're all just taking menial jobs in McDonald's and whatever they can do. So we are very lucky in that sense.
Degrees are probably a bit too kind of positive. They're very sequential. So you just pass year one and you go on to year two. It's just a very set structure. Whereas with at least with the knowledge, you do have to kind of, you know, you have to do more than just pass. You have to buck your ideas up. I know the red
Constantly
system has
tested.
now changed, but you're, at the very, very end, you can still have it at stake from when you was at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no parties every week like university, though.
No,
No, that's it. Yeah, that
No,
part.
summer. It's considered.
A lot of people study degrees, and it's just you do your time and you 3 years and you're done. With this, in many senses, it's a lot harder because there is no doing your time. The amount of people that ask the question, "How long is it going to take me?" and you think, like, Jesus, here we go again.
When you finished.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. When you finish.
Oh, I hate
Yeah.
that question.
So
How
much
much longer have you got?
If I know the question gets wider as well. If I did it 3 days a week, my job is to make you want to do it and think. When I started, I did not want to think I was going to be doing this for 2 to 3 years. That was really, and I did it in 2 years, which was great. But the thought of something for 3 years or 4 years really put me off. Now, I would have stuck with it like we all do, but we want to know that it's not the norm. We could get there in this time span if we try. And it needs to become a lot more the norm, which is what we've been trying to steer it towards. And I think as well, talking about the degree comparison, we are seriously overqualified for our job of driving a taxi.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to humiliate us, or we need to be a little bit more humble. We are only taxi drivers. We earn a good living. And when we pass out, we use 90% bus routes anyway. We simplify it. It's just open up.
My analogy for that would be like a pilot. You know, like a pilot, like they're not doing hardly any of the stuff they'd learn at pilot school. They have to learn some like stall manoeuvres and spins and all sorts. And when they're in a big plane or whatever, it's just more going through checks.
Autopilot.
Not to put it down, but then it's the idea that if that plane did, go down, then they've got the skills there. And it's the same with us.
Yeah.
When we're out in the cab, when everything goes to a halt, policeman's shutting one road, you've got a demo happening somewhere else, you just clicks in and you know what to do.
I have learned a few things from the new guys as well with the apps. They speak the road into where they want to go.
Yeah.
So you say the road name and then the map's displaying. Yeah, you can use on one of the things, and you've got the
Waze.
voice recognition,
There's traffic maps. I use them all the time. You have to.
and then you get the idea of where you want to go. You got to come up with a thing. I mean, I'm old school, so I've either got a map book or I'm literally trying to think of determined that I'm just going to think of the route and get it out. But this is quite nice and easy. I found a big iPad in front of you like that, and it just tells you where to go. So our job, in some sense, is going to get easier like that. But like the pilot,
You can't use it as an operator, you're using it, it's not guiding you, you're using it to inform your decision. You can say, oh, it's going this way, and I know why it's going that way, because it thinks I can't use this route.
Yeah.
Like I had a guy, it was during the recent strikes, and I picked him up and he said, I want to go Hampstead. I said, just to let you know, sir, there's a lot of traffic. I'm looking at Google, he said, and it's telling me 23 minutes, and this is the route I want to go. So I thought, okay, so I put in Google, so we're driving, and I phoned you, didn't I, Nick? Because I said to him, sir, I can hear the Google one in the back. So it's telling me to do a right in Evershort Street, and I'm just to let you know, you cannot do a right into Evershort Street. So I don't know why Google's telling to do it. So I'm going to have to phone you, Nick, didn't I? I said, Nick, I'm right, and why would Google tell you to do that? Because you can't get a right. Yeah. And you went, well, you can use Churchway in Grafton, wasn't it? It's Churchway in Grafton to get to Combat it. So I'd said to him, this is what I'm going to do. And I was like, this is why the Ubers go wrong.
You beat that straight
away. Because you knew. It's that in you.
instinct.
And it is when you're an appearance.
Yeah.
There's something that tells you that
can't
ain't
do
right.
that.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right. Yeah.
So
But that's one of the rules of fun when you're in appearances is never gamble on using a new road.
Yeah.
Go wider if you have to, but use what's familiar.
Go with what you think.
Anything else we can say that was thingy? Because a lot of the stuff that we can cut in that's nice and interesting.
I think that was brilliant.
So I'd just say that, coming into a school for the first time, being a female is daunting when you are,
It's males everywhere.
predominantly men. Yeah. But you get to know everybody, and it's just that initial getting to know people, finding someone that you can call over with. Dean, you was always brilliant trying to pair me up with someone. That was like really important for me to come here and know that you've got support.
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody.
Did you come, when you came, very much like in the 1960s and 70s, the
Not that
man-woman...
old.
No, but the man-woman relationship, the sexism thing would have been predominantly different. I think maybe we've reached an era where we're much more equal thinking, and a lot of the men, when you come, it's not one of those... I've never thought it was a sexist environment when you come into the school itself.
Never.
The people,
No, never been made to feel uncomfortable.
yeah.
And the evening, you get different sets of people, and if they're having food, they'll come over and share it with you. It's not like, oh, you're a girl, I'm not going to speak to you. And it's when the boys come to you now,
And ask you technical questions.
ask you, go, can you do a right? What's the spin? So it has changed. They're not afraid to ask a girl a question, which it's a good feeling as well, because
Yeah.
you don't want to feel there as like, oh, the token woman doing the knowledge, you know, she's getting easier than the blokes. And it really isn't that case anymore. And it's a really, I love being at the school. I really do. I've enjoyed it.
And it's true what the slogan says on the advertising. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
The other day, I was down the Strand and I got pulled into Burleigh Street by this woman. There was another cab in front of me and she said, oh, there's two of us. We're just waiting for some people. She went, just follow the cab in front. We're going to go to Albemarle Street. Fine, no problem. So I'm following the cab in front. We come down Exeter Street where the Strand Palace is on the left, and they were doing roadworks on the Strand and it was shut off. So then you've got to think, oh, it was going to be such an easy route up to Trafalgar Square, Coxford Street, round that way. He gets out of the cab in the front and he comes up to me and he says, well, what are we going to do? And I went, what do you mean? And he went, well, it's shut. I said, yeah, we're going to have to go up Drury Lane and then come round the back way to Trafalgar Square. And I thought, oh my God, so yes. But it was that feel-good moment that actually, because sometimes you do think, being a woman, some people, and not everyone, I did get told I'm winging it on the knowledge. So I think all along a bit of it even then was a bit, did I get this badge? And I was thinking, no, because my appearances were hard. They were really hard. I didn't get, I got quite many Ds. I got 2 cards and a lovely staple and a couple of red lines.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
But you made it. You're
makes
our
you
regular
determined,
heroes,
doesn't it?
really.
Do you know what? If you don't make the mistakes and get the D's, then it doesn't build character. That's what I say.
Yeah.
But you've been up there, you've seen so many different examiners. If you was maybe one examiner or one but it can't be, you know. Sometimes you doubt yourself, and I think it's this thing that people call imposter syndrome or whatever. And I think we've all had it to some degree. You think, oh, but no, you've been assessed by about a dozen different examiners. So they can't all be wrong, like, you know, this is the thing. So.
But the biggest assessment we have, and generally with the examiners, when I knew all Mr. Price used to always say, is are you going to get any complaints? Is any passenger going to complain about you? That is literally the whole thing they're looking for. When they pass you out, if there's no complaints, if we do it wrong, you always knock off the money or even do it for free and just put your hands up and just take it. It's just, I have mucked it up. But I've done some really good fairs sometimes. And they've got out and said, that's amazing. And then they pay you exactly the right money. You think, well, ain't that amazing, is it? I deserve the tip. Well, listen, I don't know if that's the end of the podcast, but thank you for coming and speaking.